Welcome back, y'all. In this video, you're going to learn how to disassemble and reassemble the Remington 1100. First up, clear the weapon, and then you can remove the magazine cap, sometimes referred to as the barrel nut. There's your magazine cap right there. After that, you're going to grab your foregrip, slide that straight off. There's your foregrip right there. Then you're going to grab the barrel, twist and pull away from the receiver. It should slide right out. Now next up in front of your gas cylinder, you have a piston seal, a piston, and a barrel seal. Now this little rubber piece right here, this circle, that is your barrel seal. You can go ahead and pull that off. Next up, you have the piston and the piston seal. That's the piston in the front, the piston seal in the back. Pull those off, they should come off together. Now you're ready to remove the trigger assembly. In order to do that, you need to take out the trigger assembly retaining pins, the front and the rear one. That's both those pins right there. What I like to do is take a metal rod and tap it on this side of the receiver to make it come out of the other side. Then if you can, go ahead and pull them out by hand. On this particular weapon, that front one's a little bit tight. I can't pull it out by hand, so I'm going to use that rod again to push it the rest of the way through. There's that front trigger assembly retaining pin. Now you can pull the trigger assembly out. It should just pull straight down and to the back of the receiver. And there's your trigger assembly right there. Now that you have that out, you're ready to remove the operating handle, sometimes referred to as the charging handle. Grab a pair of pliers and just pull that straight away from the bolt. There's the operating handle right there. Now you're ready to remove your bolt carrier group, which includes the bolt carrier itself, and the gas cylinder. Now inside of the receiver is a bolt release lever. It's a little silver piece that sticks out right here on the inside of the receiver. I'm going to push it in and out. That's it right there. In order to get the bolt out, you have to compress that bolt release lever. So I'm going to flip the receiver over and I'm going to push it up against the receiver, and that's going to allow the bolt to slide out. And there is your bolt carrier group right there. You can just go ahead and take the bolt off of the bolt carrier. And that is your bolt carrier and your gas cylinder there. There's your bolt. Now you're ready to remove the link. In order to do this, you'll need a small pair of pliers. I prefer a needle nose for this. And down in here, you're going to use the needle nose pliers to squeeze these two bars together right here. Those are the bars coming on the link. Squeeze it together, and then the link will pull to the right and pop right out. That's your link right there. And that is the full disassembly of your Remington 1100. Now we're going to put it back together. First up, we're going to put the link in there. Important thing to make sure here is that the curved edge of that link is facing the top of the receiver. If it's upside down, you're not going to be able to get the trigger assembly back in there. And even if you did, it would not cycle correctly. So make sure that curve goes up. Grab your needle nose pliers. And then to get it back into its slot, you're going to pinch the two bars together, push it to the back of the receiver, and set it right back in that hole. You don't have to press real hard. They kind of set in there gently. Then release the bars, and that link will pop right into place. Next up, you're ready to put your bolt carrier group back in the receiver. First, grab your bolt. Make sure that the bolt face is facing forward of the receiver. You can set that back on the bolt carrier. Then you're going to slide the gas cylinder over the magazine tube here. Once again, just like when we pulled it off, you have to press that bolt release lever down in here. I'm going to show it to you one more time. That's the little lever right there. You have to press that in, and then once you do, your bolt will slide right into place. Now that the bolt is locked in place, you're ready to put the operating handle back in. There's a small little slot inside the bolt here that it sets in. You may have to hold the bolt down a little bit, but you'll see the slot in there. Should slide right in, no problems. Once that is in, you're ready to put your trigger assembly back in the receiver. You got to finagle it a little bit. It kind of slides from the rear into the receiver, and then I kind of like pinch the sides if there's anything that's catching, any little metal or anything like that. So I'll go forward, then I'll set it down, and I'll use my thumbs to wiggle it and push it up in there. when you're lining up your trigger assembly to make sure that it's in place, just look for daylight through both of these holes. That's what I always do. If you can see clean daylight all the way through it, then you're ready to put the retaining pins back into the receiver. It doesn't matter which one you start with. If you have a gun that's been used a lot, you may be able to push these in by hand, like that back one went in pretty easy, but this front one is tight, so I'm going to use my pliers to smack it in there a little bit. I also had to use the rod on this one because that front one is just a little bit tight. The more you use the gun, the easier these pins are going to go in. Just make sure that both those pins are flush. Now you're ready to put back in your piston seal and your piston. This one on the left, the flat one, is your piston seal, and then your piston sets right on top of it. Those two can go on together. Then grab your barrel seal. That's this little rubber circle right here. Slide that on all the way up against the piston. There's a little slot right there that it will set into. And that's the slot right there. Once you have that done, you're going to pull the bolt to the rear and lock it in place. What that's going to do is allow the barrel to slide into the receiver. Once the barrel's on, you can go ahead and grab your foregrip and slide that on. Once the foregrip is on, grab that magazine cap, put it on hand tight, and that is the full reassembly of your Remington 1100. Now you're ready to do a functions check. So send the bolt home. What you're going to do is put the weapon on fire, squeeze the trigger. The trigger should fall. Rack it, send the bolt home, release the trigger. Should be a click, squeeze the trigger, trigger should fall. Send the bolt home, put it on safe. You're all set. Always want to do that to make sure that your weapon is functioning properly. I want to do a quick shout out to Kenny out in North Carolina for letting us borrow his shotgun to shoot this video. As always, we hope you learned something today, and we look forward to seeing you next time.